This is such a big deal. Do you see what's happening? We just did a live yesterday talking about Burkina Faso and Ghana, the new Ghana president inauguration. But man, this just came out yesterday. This is breaking news about Mali. I don't know if you're ready to hear this news. Do you think they're ready to hear this news?
Maybe not. It's a lot that's happening, and I hope you, just like we said yesterday, I hope you are paying attention and putting your energy to the right things. Um, that's what I gotta say. So I hope you guys are ready.
We're ready. We're very much ready. We've been ready. We've been on code. We've been ready. And evidently, West Africa is ready as well. They are ready because Mali, the president, Junta, has just hiked the gold price up on the Canadian gold firm Barrick Gold. Now, we have invested in Barrick Gold and made wonderful
Gains,
investments
yeah.
and wonderful gains just in the past 2 years. But, guys, things are going to be changing for these Western stock exchanges. When we talk about 2025 being the year that a lot of Western economies crash, this is exactly why. Because when Africa decides that you cannot rape her anymore, that you cannot come and steal her resources and then not pay her, then the tables flip dramatically, very quickly, because Canada's not pulling out gold from the ground. Canada's just not pulling out gold from the ground, which is why they've been trying to get it from Mali. But you know what? Let's watch this video describing it from News Africa.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really so much going on. If you don't know about gold, do some research about the gold reserves and who has the most gold and
And where they get it.
where yeah, actually, like where they get it and where they putting it to hold it. Um, and you will understand how big this conversation is because it's so much gold that we don't even know about, and people really need to keep up with the times. And
Yeah.
these finances, like, do you want to be in a position where your finance could like just change it's going to flip, so you got to be right there in that position so you'll be able to catch that flip. So people got to realize what's really happening, like, really.
And it's such a wonderful thing that's happening, especially with the history of Mali, which we'll get into later. There is just so much happening, and it's only day 15 of 2025. It
Yeah.
is literally only day 15. We have seen fires hitting California. They're spreading to a certain Egyptian museum that is in California. There's so much going on. And with this new breaking news, this is sure to bring an additional wave of stress to Western nations.
Yeah, it's been handshakes been done, people been meeting with each other, um, and now this breaking news where it's like, wow, okay, if you really understand what this is, um, you will get how important this is. So stay tuned. We just about to play a couple minutes and we will respond.
In a dramatic turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the mining industry, Mali's military government has seized 3 tons of gold from the Canadian mining giant Barrick Gold Corporation over alleged unpaid revenues owed to the West African state. This bold move, valued at approximately 180 million US dollars, underscores escalating tensions between the resource-rich nation and foreign corporations operating within its borders. According to an internal Barrick letter obtained, the company's CEO Mark Bristow informed staff on Monday about the seizure and stated that the company is awaiting official confirmation of the proper receipts by the Malian Solidarity Bank, a government-controlled entity. What's behind this opaque phrasing, and does it hint at a deeper mistrust between Mali's government and the mining sector? The seizure follows a warning earlier this
The wording, the audacity of this Canadian corporation to say that they don't trust Mali and to have these undertones that they're waiting for a receipt to see if it's legitimate. You have been extracting and raping this country of its gold This once incredible ancient kingdom, you have extracted its resources, put them on the market without paying them adequately. For how long, sir? That's my question. But hey, let's continue. That's just the question that I have, and it's the audacity. But let's proceed.
this month from Mali's senior investigating judge, Boubacar Moussa Diarra, who had threatened legal action against Barrick over its failure to pay what the government claims is its rightful share of revenues. By Monday, January 13, 2025, this threat materialized when a senior Barrick manager, speaking on condition of anonymity, confirmed the gold had been taken from a mine near Kayes, a key gold mining region in western Mali, and transported by both truck and plane to the capital, Bamako. Can foreign companies afford to ignore such stark warnings in a country where political and economic power are tightly intertwined? Barrick Gold, one of the world's largest gold producers, has been embroiled in this high-stakes legal and financial battle with Mali. The military government claims the company owes substantial revenue to the state, and in December issued an arrest warrant for CEO Mark Bristow on charge.
Dang, they're not playing. They said, look, they said they issued an arrest warrant for the founder of this company, Bristow.
Yeah, you gotta think like
We're in different times.
It says this is the most popular producer of gold. This is
one of the largest.
Where it's like, wow, they talk about large and the largest producer of gold. Where do they get their gold?
Mali.
That's why we always say Africa is the resource. They know it. They know what they're doing, and they starting to get, pushback. They starting to get slapped right back in the face where they're not expecting it, and it's like, man, these companies, they just getting what they deserve because they just been taking everything from Africa. They put it in their own companies, they put it in their own people and stuff, and leave Africa just dry and just poor, and it's deep. It's really deep.
Charges of alleged money laundering. This is not the first time Mali's authorities have taken drastic measures. 4 senior Barrick executives were previously arrested, but were swiftly released. Why has the government escalated its actions this time? And what precedent does this set for other foreign investors? The confiscation of 3 tons of gold, a resource critical to Mali's economy, comes at a time when the country is grappling with immense challenges. Mali, one of Africa's largest gold producers, has long relied on its mining sector as a cornerstone of its economy. However, political instability has exacerbated challenges in the industry.
These uncomfortable growing pains are going to lead to the birth of the renewal of one of the greatest civilizations that Africa has ever seen. Okay, if you're not familiar with the Empire of Mali, that was in power from 1230 to 1600, right before the transatlantic slave trade, you should become aware of that, because this is why in Deuteronomy it says, consider the days of old, ask the forefathers and they'll tell you. Look back at history, see what data you can extract and pull to understand the future and what is coming, to understand how the times are going to change. We know through the Bible that the earth is in a circular motion, like a circular. Everything in the scripture goes in a cycle, right? You have the 4 seasons. We always have these cycles of life. And right now we are in the cycle where restitution is coming. Okay. Really? Where if you've been raping Africa, well, that's going to fall on you. That's why in Revelations it says, give her double for her trouble.
Yeah. You got to realize West Africa is really standing up. Just, I want to say like 5-6 months ago, Burkina Faso was going at the UAE, Dubai, right? Where they take a lot of resources from Africa and build their cities. And it's like, dang, they really just did that. Although we don't like think about like behind the scenes, and we just see the forefront of, oh, Dubai is great, Dubai is great. How did it get that great?
Slavery.
Like, how did it really get that
My
great?
bad.
So it's just like, and you got to know these nations on the earth and why this stuff like this is happening. Um, so just be prepared. Put your seatbelt on, because if you are in the right position, prepared, it's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be a grateful, thankful ride to the Most High. So all praise to the Most High that you are able to, hear this and understand what's really going on.
Following the military takeover in 2020, the transitional government has aggressively sought to maximize revenues from its natural resources. In November 2022, the government suspended the issuance of new mining permits, aiming to overhaul its regulatory framework. This pause allowed Mali to scrutinize and refine its mining procedures, signaling its intent to strengthen the state's control over the lucrative sector and ensure better returns for the country. In August 2023, Mali adopted a new mining code that dramatically shifted ownership dynamics. The code reduced foreign investors' stakes in mining companies from 90% to 65%, reallocating the remaining ownership to the state and Malian nationals. These measures reflect a broader strategy to boost the sector's contribution to Mali's GDP, which currently hovers between 7% and 8%, to a targeted range of 15% to 20%.
Now that's GDP that they're talking about. Like, that's a year. That's a big gain. That's 2 times gain.
And it should be. Mali should, quite frankly, be one of the richest nations on the earth. Why is it not?
Yeah.
Because people are extracting its resources. And on top of doing that, have the audacity to think that they're in the right for doing it. This is the disease of white supremacy, right?
Mm.
It's not logical to think that you can come into another sovereign nation and steal all of their resources and not pay them adequately, not even pay them adequately, and then hold 90% ownership when you are not a native to the country.
Exactly.
That's not sane. That's not a normal human way of thinking.
Yeah.
But there are particular nations on the earth that have done this and continue to do this until we reach the time where time's up.
Yeah. And like a thought just came in my head. Like, people think that, they've been doing this for centuries. They've been doing this for a long time, but still hasn't touched even half of Africa. So, or even half of Mali, I would guess, because it's like Africa is so huge, so it's still so much potential. It's still so much things that people can come here and do, so don't think that, man, they've been doing this for so long, they probably destroyed all the land. Nope, not at all. Not even close.
Oh,
Not even close.
Nope.
By retaining greater control, Mali aims to secure more concessions, increase tax revenues, and enhance the participation of local stakeholders. While these changes could bolster national benefits, they have raised concerns among foreign investors regarding operational certainty and profitability, potentially reshaping the future of Mali's mining industry. In this context, Barrick's legal troubles are not unique, but part of a broader trend of heightened scrutiny and financial demands placed on international mining companies. Yet, the company has reportedly offered to pay $370 million in a bid to settle the dispute.
Yeah, do you think that's enough? You think that's enough?
I think Barrick Gold should break down, since they've been open, how much they've made year to year to year to year, like accurate financials, and then let the Mali government decide what is adequate. Don't settle. Let's see what's fair and adequate, since your land, Canada, does not have these resources.
Yeah.
Without Mali, you wouldn't be in the position you're in.
Yeah.
If gold is your biggest export from Canada, with your Canadian gold rings that you really just get off the backs of African people.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
300.
Is this enough to resolve the standoff, or is Mali setting the stage for a larger confrontation with the global mining industry? While Malian authorities remain tight-lipped about the incident, the seizure has cast a spotlight on the fragile balance between resource exploitation and sovereign control. The gold was reportedly moved to Bamako over the weekend, signaling a calculated and symbolic act by the government to assert its dominance. In conclusion, Mali's decisive action to seize the 3 tons of gold from Barrick Gold Corporation is a powerful assertion of sovereignty and a bold step toward ensuring that the country's resources are used for the benefit of its people. This move sends a strong message that foreign corporations must honor their financial commitments and operate transparently within Africa. Mali's courage in taking such a firm stance should inspire other African nations to remain vigilant over their natural resources, ensuring they are not exploited at the expense of local development. By standing up to global mining giants, Mali has demonstrated the potential for African countries to reclaim control over their wealth and use it to uplift their economies, alleviate poverty, and foster sustainable growth. This is not just a fight for gold, it's a fight for dignity and economic justice across the continent.
As well said.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I know, like, man, it's crazy that we gotta, like, in a way, say this. Like, this is just
Right.
what it is. Like,
Right.
it's not.
That's just righteousness.
Yeah, it's just right. Just really trying to take care of your country, trying to take care of your people. So it's just like, wow. But a lot of people would go against that.
Yeah, including people in the West that still love the West, still benefit from the West, that are not willing to crucify their love for the West, their wealth, whatever, for the justice that needs to be had for West Africa, for South Africa, for East Africa, for all of these different nations, for Central Africa. It's like you have to decide, are you willing to idolize your comfortability over justice for your cousins?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be willing, but many are. And so this is where we're going to continue to see this divide in the diaspora. That's like some people that are like, no, I'm American, I'm staying in America forever. Others are like, no, I'm unified with my people, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable for me, even if there's a shift happening. I am truly an African representing African people.
Yeah, like it just goes back to the scriptures. It goes back to the Bible where, you just got to be just. You got to be fair. The Most High, like if you judge this, if you judge it, a human judges it. It should be common sense. Like, no, this is not fair. The righteous thing to do is to, make things right.
Yeah. Flat out.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
So, do you love righteousness or do you just love like the wickedness?
Oppression.
Yeah, oppressionness. So
you gotta
that's
decide.
That's something to think about.
Everybody has to answer that for themselves. But I wanted to go through and talk a little bit about the history of Mali. It won't be like an entire lesson necessarily, but guys, if you don't know the Empire of Mali, you should know it. It was one of the largest and most powerful empires. This is coming from sahistory.org.za, from southafricanhistory.org, okay? So from the year 1230 to 1600, it was one of the largest empires in West Africa, along with the Songhai Empire, the Ghana Empire. It was founded by the legendary King Sundi Atta, okay? AKA, who knows Mansa Musa, one of the richest men ever. He would travel throughout that Sahel region, giving out gold. Why was he so generous? Because they got all this gold flowing out the ground. Okay, this is such important history because these times are coming again where the rise of West Africa is going to happen. And it is essentially going to be for a blessing to all of Africa. He would literally just travel on his fleet of camels, giving out gold to all of his African people, all the way down towards Ethiopia, okay? Now, the history of the Mali Empire arose with the consolidation of several Malinke kingdoms in Ghana around the areas of the upper Niger River. Most of what is known about the Empire of Mali's history was collected by Arabic scholars in the 13 and 1400s. Now, I think it's so interesting the timing of this. They had like the 1200s, the 1300s. This was also when the East African Swahili coast was in one of its higher powered days. Now, when you enter in the 1500s, 1600s, something happens with the Dark Ages in Europe. Okay. Just so you know, many Africans were also ruling in Europe throughout the 1200s up until 1400s. Then something shifts. Okay. And then people from Europe begin to descend on Africa. What do they do first? They can't immediately take the resources. So they immediately do what? Manipulate so that they can take the human capital, the slaves, our ancestors. They first had to remove and divide our ancestors. Why? Because when we were unified, you couldn't penetrate that. But a house divided cannot stand. So once our ancestors left, it was free game for them. To be quite honest, we see the fall of Africa from the 1600s until modern day today, where the descendants of our ancestors, us, are just now starting to return. And Mali, the kingdom, the great kingdom it once was, is just starting to say, okay, it's time to stand up. We can't forget the history and the spiritual symbolism that is happening right now today with these ancient kingdoms and with these current kingdoms, because Mali is still a kingdom. It's just going through a rebirth. It's still a great kingdom. It's just getting out the people that were oppressing it. So yeah, that's why I wanted to say. Now you can look at this more in depth for yourself to understand the Mali Empire. I remember studying it in school and college. I just love history, especially African history. Look it up. Mansa Musa, the architecture of the West African kingdoms. It truly is phenomenal. And I'm excited to see where this takes Africa. I'm excited to see where this takes Mali. I'm excited to see, just to watch and be grateful to the Most High and just see, it's good. It's very good. It's a very good time to be alive. It's a very good time to be in Africa.
Yeah, it's an awesome time to be alive. Everything's unfolding right in front of us. We are seeing this in real life.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
So all this negativity going around, just don't let it overtake you.
No.
All this darkness that's going around, just don't let it overtake you.
Nope. Because the remnant will inherit the walls of Jerusalem and be redeemed once again. With all of their jewels, all of their gold, everything that has been taken will be given back times 7. How do I know? Because in Proverbs it says, if the enemy steals from you, he must give you back 7 times. Activate the spiritual principles, and we're going to continue to see the increase in the motherland.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's good. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is just going to be a quick one. Make sure you like the video. Leave your comments below.
Share
the video, because this definitely need to be getting out there.
And look at the Mali Empire. Look at history.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're not going to say that. They're not going to be talking about this in the States. They like the things that we find is usually over here on this side of the world. Australian news, the Indian news, stuff like that, where it's like, this is happening, and they are excited about this happening. So it's like, these other nations are very excited. They're backing, Africa. So we will see what's going on. So stay tuned to what is happening.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.